They're like, take it from us. Welcome back, everybody. We had a nice little break. So we're gonna go into 585 and we unfortunately don't have Budget Council with us this morning, so we're gonna try to kind of walk through it ourselves. This might be faster, but Tasha's gonna put it up on the screen. So I just want to go through each section. I want to just sort of, I don't want to read it. I don't want to parse language. Like a typical markup that we would do. I want to talk about the concept, what it's doing, and I want to get a sense in each section on, from each committee member. I'm going to straw poll each one in, whether or not people wish to include this into the final version of 585. And then if you decide on any changes, I will work with legislative council to ensure that those changes get made, so that we can have the.
You're going to take notes, that's all I'm wondering.
I'm gonna take notes.
Okay.
Or,
Why don't you let me?
yeah, Daisy knows how I am at taking notes.
It's hard to do both. That's what I was thinking.
Probably for the best. That somebody
I'm
else takes.
taking notes for myself too.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
that's a good, let's do the overall.
Okay, lots of people take notes. Note taking is not my suit. All right, so section 1 has to do with the board of directors at a hospital service corporation. And we're talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield of Vermont here. So just so we're all clear on that. They are recommending that 2 representatives of the public be named by the governor. As I explained yesterday, there was back and forth between, should the governor get to pick one? And when I say governor, I'm talking about any governor, not our current governor. This is for anyone. And whether the legislature should have a say in that. And in my opinion, I went back and forth so much and it became complex in how this would be picked that it didn't seem like it was necessary. I did not want to create a whole new nominating committee, which then has to be picked. And that seemed a little, as I said, not much bang for the buck. So go ahead, Daisy.
Can you remind me what the 1/6?
So it has 2 members of the board currently, and that's because the board is currently configured is how many members? 12. So that if the board composition became more than 12, that it would have to be a minimum of 1/6. So like if it became, I can't do math in my
So
head.
we're adding 2 more, it's gonna be 14.
Yes.
So
So-
we're gonna need,
If the board
Three.
decided at one point that they wanted to make it 60, there would need to be 10.
But if
It didn't matter in my head.
but we're turning the board now into 14, correct?
Yeah.
it would be 3.
So we need 3. Yeah, not 2.
Yep. It was 1/6.
It would no longer be 1/6. I mean, if that's an important metric.
Or this is why we need ledge council.
Could just say 2.
Is it that as board members leave that are currently on the board, that 2 new ones shall be named by the governor? I think that there was the process
like
of
for
naming them.
additions.
How about,
Yes,
for the record?
yes,
don't mind
please.
loud.
No,
Let's use solid number. What if you said something like, if the board exceeds 18, another member shall be appointed by the governor. Even though not like fractions. Very clear.
That's a great idea.
So that way it's clear that if the board exceeds 18, then they get a 3rd member. And vice versa, if the board. Is that?
Yeah. Just say 2. 2 appointees by the governor.
Take out the whole 1/6 thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think your point was if the more people come on, you want to have higher representation.
That wasn't my point. My point
Oh,
was
is it?
that what if there is a, term about there needing to be a 1/6 portion met, that 2 is not 1/6. That was my only point.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
fine
you
with
were
there
worried.
just being 2.
Okay, I thought you were, they increased, you want to have a percentage. If you want to click that.
Yeah. Because, yeah, in no event less than 1/6. shall be
Yes,
represented.
Brian?
I saw, well, I know I just came in, so I don't know if you talked about this yet, but I saw an email, or at least one, maybe two, referring to the potential problems of even doing this at this point. I don't know if anyone else heard this.
What's that?
That having the government decide that for certain nonprofits, it's gonna start choosing its board feels like a bit authoritarian. I don't know if that's the language that was used, but then when I read the argument, it really struck me because the Green Mountain Care Board is a government body.
Yep.
And this isn't. And so now I'm like, are we gonna start seizing assets of people by putting, like, I don't know, it's concerning. So before we talk too much about the number and the time, I wanted to put that out there.
This is the conversation that I hope that people would have.
Okay.
Which is, can we agree on the concepts, not necessarily the language? So Tupper?
Basically, the reason we're doing this is to get representation of the public on the board.
But aren't they-
That's what the big deal is.
I see other hands.
It's not to take over or any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I personally, I hear those concerns and, you're right, is this, public takeover of a private? I just keep coming back to this particular organization is. Anyone remembers the last year? This is an organization that is completely and totally responsible for. They are so big that the entire healthcare system in Vermont would fail if they failed. And a board named, a board of directors' responsibility is to the corporation or nonprofit or organization that they serve on. And I just feel as though when we talk about members of the public, it should be that there should be people on there that are thinking about this, the healthcare system of the state of Vermont, not just about the bottom line of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Vermont. Alan, and then Leslie.
I'm against the whole thing of having legislature or governor appoint members from the general public to these things. I've talked to my own hospital. They're against it. I think the insurance companies are against it. And we're just going to get too political. I think there's 60, I think I heard a while back, there's like 60 other nonprofit organizations. Where do we stop according, Brian's statement? And I'm against this.
Okay. Leslie?
So I sort of feel similarly to Brian, but I'm calling it overreach. And I think that's because if there were, when we got worried about Blue Cross crashing, because of course that would be an enormous crisis. But it's hard for me to imagine two members of random public being able to direct the direction of a board of that many people. So it seems to me that people on the board are members of the public. Not all of them, some of them represent, I got a list of the people who are actually on the board, and there's, Blue Cross of Michigan. They have financial stake in there. I think they have 2 seats on the board. That's right, 2 seats. But the other people are all Vermonters who are members of Vermont. So I feel like we're represented. So I agree with you, Penny, that I don't want to open that door to what about hospitals? What about other nonprofits that, we're worried about? should we be really direct? Should we appoint people to the board of Springfield Hospital that went bankrupt? We didn't do that. We didn't think about that. So I feel like this is, as I said, overreach, and I'm not going to support it either.
they are regulated as well.
Look, they are regulated by the Green Mountain Care Board, so there is a lot of oversight.
I'm in full support of this section. I think Blue Cross Blue Shield is a very unique nonprofit in this state. There are 14 hospitals. There is technically one insurance company for the state of Vermont. And I think that yes, there are Vermonters obviously on their board, but that is a board process that they undertake. And we don't know fully what that is or how they choose their board members. And I think because they are so vital, every other nonprofit out there, they are really vital to this state. And we really need to do everything to not let them fail. So I don't think this is overreach. I think it's absolutely necessary. And I'm comfortable with it being the governor that appoints them.
And I will just say, last year, you remember, if there had not been the agreement with UVM and C to pay them back money, it would have been the state stepping in to shore up their financials with general fund dollars.
A lot of it.
A lot of it. Topper and then Daisy.
Don't have one.
Oh,
Wait a
okay.
minute.
I thought I saw
I
your hand
forgot
up.
what you said something, I forgot. What you said. I'll come back.
Okay. Karen?
Yes. I'm wondering about the purpose of the two people. Is it to, have oversight over the executive compensation, which we know could be excessive, or is it to keep them out of bankruptcy? I do see that there's some provisions in here with robust reporting to Department of Financial Regulation on executive compensation. And just wondering if that is part of the solution. So that's just sort of a question. And then I also wondered why they had limitations on liability as opposed to the regular folks on the board.
So the bill reads that the guiding principles for these representatives of the public in discharging their duties is that they shall, in determining what the representative of the public reasonably believes to be in the best interest of the Hospital Service Corporation, consider the effects of any action or inaction that the Hospital Service Corporation takes, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Topper. They should be determining and the subscribers, in other words, the members, the community and societal considerations of the state of Vermont, including the principles for healthcare reform that we have already in Title 18 or Chapter 18. The goal that the Hospital Service Corporation benefits and services should be provided at minimum cost and under efficient and economical management. And they may consider other relevant factors that they deem appropriate as members of the public. And I think that the concern is that the appointed board members by the Hospital Service Corporation, their duty is to think of the Hospital Service Corporation. I see the Hospital Service Corporation shaking their head over on them, but that this would allow somebody to actually take into account what the state is trying to do statewide.
And so when you think about what a board member's obligation is, typically, it's to see the mission through in the best possible way. And so I don't know if there's like internal tension with being, I don't know, if you're on a board, you're usually adhering to the mission of that. If this is a very special situation and very exceptional situation, I mean, how can, could language be included that said, because this is a completely unique, or is that just understood? I mean, we can't see into the future. We do want to be systemic and structural when we make changes. So this is a completely unique organization, and this is why. I don't know. I also wonder about keeping it confined to this for these purposes, and I just don't, and how effective it would be. I just wonder. I'm not completely clear that it would be effective for the purpose and not. Maybe it won't open the door to any other nonprofit, but there is, there is the potential. There's a lot of nonprofits in this state, and that's very ambivalent answer. I just, but that's what I'm mulling over.
Can I give an example of where I think, I mean, it was very public this year in the hospital budget review that the board did. There were a lot of questions asked around like contract negotiations between Blue Cross Blue Shield and the hospital. And, I wonder if I was a board member appointed to Blue Cross Blue Shield, if my charge was ensuring that contract negotiations were being done in good faith with the thought of the cost of care to Vermonters. Because I think it was kind of clear in the public budget hearings that perhaps that wasn't happening. And I think that the rationale for having dedicated people on the board who are thinking like that of, the good of all Vermonters and the cost of care in the state of Vermont, I just feel like they are a unique situation, which is why there is this unique piece of statute that is being proposed in front of us that is only relegated to this one particular instance. I think that it's concerns like that that have led to this. Thank you. I had Brian and then I have Leslie.
I know we don't have witnesses on the agenda, but I am curious about the process currently used by the impacted organization for board selection.
I think they testified to that.
Can someone remind me, or does anyone remember?
Would the hospitals I keep forgetting what you all are called.
I think it's hospital service organization or something.
Hospital service organization like to, what is the selection process currently for members of the board? And what is their duty and their charge?
Is it, would you rather me here or?
No, you can stay there.
Just
Just give your name first.
Courtney Harness, for the record, Courtney Harness, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Vermont. Important for the members of the committee to know that when our affiliation was approved in 2023 and we are unique in that we actually have two regulators, Green Mountain Care Board and the Department of Financial Regulation, with remarkably close oversight, an existing statute that obligates us to make sure that every decision that we make is in the best interest of all Vermonters, plan members or not. That affiliation was approved in 2023. We did shift the makeup of our board. We affiliated with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan. Some of you might know, much bigger than us. And as I don't like to use the word subsidiary, but it's the thing that makes most sense to people. We brought 5 people from their organization onto our board. and replaced Vermonters for the sole reason of making sure that we would not go back into the position that we were in August of 23 when that affiliation occurred. So you all know that happened after the rate filings for 2024. And important to note that, and I think Rep. Gordon has sightlined into those folks from Michigan. They are all folks with extensive and remarkable careers in health insurance and very successful across their careers. Since then, process is that our board governance committee creates a list of Vermonters now, so no more folks from outside of Vermont. When we think someone is about to roll off or their term is about to expire, we create a list of Vermonters who we believe, our board governance committee believes, meet a number of factors in our bylaws, one of which is a community leader, one of which has some experience with large organizations or organizations serving statewide or larger. And the other one is they actually have to be plan members. So folks have to belong to our plan so that decisions that they're making are not just for all Vermonters, but making sure that decisions that we make are in the best interest of our premiums and how Vermonters experience those premiums. So right now, our board chair is expected, his term is expected to expire. We've created a list of folks. As we narrow down that list based on the criteria that the board has created, they go through a long vetting process. That includes, again, interview is probably not the right language, but for lack of a better term, interview as to how they would fit in with the culture of the board, how they would fit in a way where their knowledge brings a different set of expertise or a different experience to the board to make sure that we have a diverse set of board members. And they're held to, and I think I might have put this in written testimony a couple of weeks ago, very, very strict standards when it comes to everything about contract negotiations, premiums, proprietary information that they do or do not have access to. And that process typically takes 6 months to work through the entire vetting process. Right now, we're doing it for one board member. The list that we started with was 15. Many of the folks that are on the final part of the list have been in this committee testifying this session, and are folks who this committee typically recognizes in testimony as experts.
I just have a follow-up question
Yeah,
about the
please.
process, 2 follow-up questions about the process. You mentioned that a governance committee, which is made up of board members, creates a list of plan members. How do they know someone's a plan member? Do they make a list and then check the roles, or do they like look over this massive the roles?
Oh, correct. We make a list first and then we check. And so that's typically the first part of the process. We make a longer list. And then we see, I'll just say frankly, I've seen the list and there are some folks that I really wish were plan members.
But they aren't.
Correct.
So if they have Medicaid, you won't take them, or okay. And then the other question is, if someone does have a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan and wants to serve on the board, are they ever given an opportunity to throw their hat in the ring? Because there could be people out there who we don't consider as candidates because they're not in this like inner circle of so-called experts, but they might have expertise and they might be out there. Like, is there ever like a call like to the membership, like, hey, Blue Cross Blue Shield plan members, if you were ever interested in serving on our board, here's the criteria, here's how you can apply.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks don't know this, but as part of our work that we do, we actually distribute money to nonprofits across the state. And part of that work that we do, we have community advisory groups in different pockets of the state. And the function of that community advisory group is specific for population health, community well-being. And frequently we have people that are interested in our work and want to learn more about our work and get added to the list from those groups.
Okay. Thank you I just wanted to, because we were talking about how the board selected, and I did not, forgive me, but I did not remember the details of it. So it's good to have a reminder.
Thanks.
And just so I'm clear, you said that there are now 5 members of your board who were appointed by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan.
Right.
So it would,
And seven, I believe, seven Vermonters.
and
There's 12 on the board.
for the financial health. Topper, go ahead.
You just asked, Mike, because I want to know what the total amount of Vermont people were on there.
Leslie, and then I think I'm gonna, wrap up.
This is just a question. I'm curious to understand sort of the chilling effect this might have. I mean, yes, we have one insurance company at this moment, but we have MVP. I don't know how that would affect MVP. And would it, and why, if not, why? And,
Domiciled in New York.
okay, so it's domiciled in Vermont, so that's the deal.
No. Oh, yeah.
So that it would be required to be domiciled. So would it do, we've always wanted to have more than one. I mean, we're sort of disappointed that we only have one because look what happened. Someday, who knows, someone might say, yeah, we want to come to Vermont or we have a regional whatever, which is, who knows? Would this have a chilling effect on kind of future options, future opportunities? And that's just a worry for me, that I don't know that we know the answer to that, but it's just a worry.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kept reading this and I have to say, I can change my mind. And as a middle child, I'm gonna like to. Be a compromise. Why do we have to have two?
I think that they wanted to restore some balance.
And my second question would be, I get the optics of it from what happened last year. And I think that's the rationale for getting somebody the governor appoints on this. Is that,
Well,
I'm looking at you?
I know you are. See if I can answer. People that were impacted were common, everyday people,
Mhm.
members of the public. They were paying the premiums. When you look at, and I'm just gonna talk.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to offend anybody, but when we look at the compensation of some of the people at the top end. A public person asked, tons of them asked me, how can we pay that kind of money? So it was a person from the public being on there, experiencing that, might have a different take on how much a person should be paid. Now, I know that Blue Cross Blue Shield goes through an intense thing about how other executives are paid, and they base it probably on that. But it's important to have my voice on that board
Mhm.
as a member of the public, to give them that perspective. It was all.
I'm just wondering if you could put like an end date on it
An end date for what?
for having appointees on this board.
They are revolving, so they're not always the same. There's a 3-year term and a 2-year term.
Yeah.
I'm going to get I'm torn between, do I want a show of hands on whether or not people support this section? Or do I get a show of hands on people who, if this section remains, it will mean that they do not consider the bill as a whole? I'm really torn on those two questions.
Well,
Both.
so that's harder. I mean, because,
Well, this is hard. So let's,
I mean, I'd rather
get around to this.
We were doing section by section.
let's just.
We are-
section by
yeah.
section.
I think we should stay there.
Yeah.
Section by section, and then if
And we'll see the
sections are
whole.
eliminated, we'll do the whole. Okay. Yes. Oh,
For the record, I'll address this. I want to throw one more small piece of information that you might help your consideration on this. Is that board members on the board, they get paid. So when you're adding 2 new members, they're adding, and they get paid about $20,000 a year. So this is, and you put 2, so that's $40,000. That's going to be 4 and 5 the ratepayers. I just want to throw that out there.
Question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do the Michigan people get paid $20,000 a year from our Blue Cross Blue Shield of Vermont?
More, I checked for 990.
Oh, wait, what?
And so that, so I will just say.
Yeah, 990?
I have a big. My last statement is, I have a big problem that we are not, like, we have so many Michigan people on. I probably knew that, but he just said it again. And if they are even getting paid more, then I really think we need to have 2 people appointed to really look out for Vermonters.
Okay. Karen and Alan,
Sorry.
and then I'm calling a vote.
So on the subject, I just wanted to reiterate the concern for me is structural. If there's a way to say this is a special organization because of this, you always wonder if you do something special in a certain circumstance, what it looks like 5 or 10 years later. So is there a way to confine this?
It is.
For
It is. It is defined as a hospital service corporation. The definition of hospital service corporation is in statute and it applies
only to this one
to this
organization
one organization.
at this time?
At this moment, yes.
It has for a long time.
It
Yeah.
yes.
It's been in statute for quite a while, specifically.
And it hasn't in quite a while applied to any other organization.
Yes. So it really, although it's not named in here, it really is relegated to just this one. Alan,
Okay, so
then,
I know we said 2 positions. We did the math earlier. We said if we go to 14, it might be 3. Are we talking 3 positions or are we talking 2?
we took out the 1/6. We are 2. We're gonna get a sense on whether or not people even want it before we start talking about, and we're not actually gonna talk about that. That's more of a ledge council discussion.
My other comment, without getting political, I don't care who the governor is, if it comes time to appoint somebody, it's going to be their way of thinking. Okay, and that's not always, that's getting political. That's not looking at what's good for healthcare. That's getting political and I'm against.
It may not.
Do both.
It may not.
Well,
It's not necessarily.
it may not, but if any one of us here
I
had to
mean,
pick somebody.
The governor appoints people all the time without it being.
well,
Right.
The governor
I think
appoints it.
it's-
He's.
It's always political. let's be honest.
The governor appointed you and
You put a Democrat in your spot,
Obviously, very, very.
so it's political. Another-
It's always political.
So, there you go.
Political, we are political, let's
Can
be
I
honest.
just remind everybody that the governor is elected by the entire state of Vermont and that the governor represents the needs and concerns of the entire state of Vermont because they've elected him to do that. So I don't care if he's or her, if they are a Democrat or a Republican, their representation, they have a constituency and their constituency is the state of Vermont and all people in the state of Vermont. Topper, and then I really am.
Okay, I'm just gonna
So
make
don't
one
anyone
statement.
put their hand up.
One statement, along with what Lori said and what you just said. The governor is elected, one of the number one mission that the governor has is to protect the people of Vermont. And this is a way to protect the people who are paying the premiums on the board. So they're representing you.
Well said, Topper.
Thank you.
Okay.
I haven't raised my hand until now because I really was like on the fence about this. Partly worried about precedent that it sets for nonprofits, also partly worried about, or equally worried about the politicization. But I think if I were to take each of those separately, the politicization of it, if I'm too concerned about that, then I'm saying that I don't believe in our democracy, right? That's what that's saying. Because Alyssa just made the point, every governor is elected by the people. And then if I take the other piece, that this sets precedent for other nonprofits across the state. We received a letter from someone who signed it from the board of the Pride Center, other organizations and nonprofits that we're all familiar with and that are doing good work in the state. I don't think there's any way that someone could argue that there is another nonprofit in the state that touches Vermont residents in the way that Blue Cross Blue Shield Vermont does. There's no way. And that impacts Vermonters in the way that they do, were they to become fiscally insolvent. And I think with the balance of what Topper is saying, having more Vermonters on the board, keeping things in balance, I would feel safer in the long term. And I'm not just thinking about in the next 2 years, I'm thinking about 10, 20 years from now. That's all. I think this is a really, really difficult decision because it's really important. And Karen's suggestion about sunsetting, I think, is also one that I contemplated, but you know what? We change things all the time. And I think I'm willing to try this out.
That was mine.
Oh. Do you want to come sit here?
Thanks, Daisy.
But I think we change things all the time. I'm willing to support the two because I believe that in democracy, that this is what we have to do. And I believe that strongly that we need representation. Healthcare premiums specifically from this entity are what is crushing Vermonters right now. For us to not have democratic representation on that board, or for us to have the opportunity to have it, is significant. And I think we shouldn't take it lightly, but also remember that we can hold the governor accountable for who we appoint.
Great, thank you. Okay, so all in favor of keeping this in the bill? Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And then all in favor of removing this section from the bill? I'm assuming 6. I'm not gonna go around.
No.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm abstaining.
I can't abstain.
I'm sorry, you can't.
No. Got good arguments on both sides.
It's tricky.
It's hard.
Yeah,
So which
I would say it's not a deal breaker for me, but I am concerned.
Okay.
About
So yes or no? Yes or no? Are you a yes or no? I just,
Yes is leaving it in, no is taking it out. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But no, it's taking it out.
this is a hard job. But we were sent here to make hard decisions. Yes or no?
This is the closest vote we've ever had.
It's just on one part of the bill too.
You're a lawyer.
This is the first section.
No, it's the first section, and it's 11:30, people. I just want to remind everyone, we have 11, 12 sections.
Okay, it's not a deal breaker for me.
That's not the question.
We're
right
not
now.
going there. Question.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you-
not the question. The
Okay.
question is, do
Sorry.
you want to keep this in the bill?
Or not.
Yes.
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 Okay,
Already did this.
5, no. Karen, you have to vote.
No.
Okay,
So it's
thank
out.
you. 5, 6. Well, sorry.
That was
we're going
hard.
through
I
each
will
of-
acknowledge that.
The second section has to do with the information that is given to Department of Financial Regulation that's filed, section 2. Well, I don't even know. No, there's still section 1.
Oh, there's something else to vote on section 1?
The employee, the executive compensation.
What page is that?
It's on page 7. Thank you. It concerns, so right now, Blue Cross Blue Shield, well, the insurance companies, or Blue Cross Blue Shield has to file this information with the Department of Financial Regulation, and the Department of Financial Regulation would like a little bit more information from them, including like the benchmarks that were utilized in giving the compensation, the compensation survey or peer group that was used to determine what the compensation was, bonuses. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but essentially it has to do with giving DFR more information around how executive compensation was determined. I'm going to, any discussion, and then I'm going to ask whether to keep it in the bill.
And remember that you just took two people
Yeah.
off compensation board,
Well,
the compensation committee.
Yeah, but that's not the TFR.
we're voting on these things. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going away. We're gonna vote on them, each individually, so I can get everybody's opinion on where things are. Executive compensation, additional data being given to the Department of Financial Regulation.
I like.
Yes?
Yes, remove it or keep it?
Keep
Keep
it.
Keep it.
Okay,
Wow.
11-0,
That one out.
11-0, okay. All right, next up, section 2. I feel like this was just cleaning up something, isn't it?
Oh, it's to amend the bylaws to.
No, it's
To
allow
the
the-
above.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cleaning up what
okay.
we just.
All right, we're leaving it there. I'm not even gonna do discussion on that.
Because it might have to be removed if one comes out.
Section T.
Or something, no.
Yeah, because it's about updating its bylaws, which would change, if you change the board compensation, you have to change your bylaws.
Yes. Okay, so. So it was, oh gosh, I wish Jen was here.
This is the HPA.
Yeah.
No, this is not AHP.
This is definition.
Well, definition.
Okay, well, I think that this was just updating some definitions.
It's removing the definition of these criteria about associations. That's what I
Yeah.
see. That's what I'm seeing so far. It's removing, it's repealing an
Yeah,
explanation.
So-
And then in the next section,
I'm gonna say that if we consult with legislative council about the other sections, legislative council will know what needs to be changed or removed on here. Yeah,
yeah, I would feel better waiting on this vote.
Yeah, we'll-
Okay.
okay. Association health plans. We had long, vigorous discussions about association health plans. We got some additional testimony. I and Tupper had additional conversation with Department of Financial Regulation. They are remaining agnostic, I guess, on, they did indicate that they have absolutely no problem with adding section 5, which is the federal landscape report that we had in here. I hope I'm not misrepresenting what they said. They did say that they would be willing to look at some of the other things that we had talked about, but to keep it contained.
Yeah.
So basically what we did in this draft was we delayed it by a year. And then we made them come back to us with this report on what the federal landscape was. And we had robust discussion yesterday, which Jen was taking notes around. Essentially, we want more information as far as impact to the QHP market, some modeling on costs. And I'm recommending that we put that conversation that we had into this bill here. And I want to get a sense if it's like this or like that, how many people would support leaving this section in the bill?
You're talking about section 4, right?
Section
5.
Well, what about section 4?
4 and 5, everything related to association plans.
So 4 and 5, I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, everything related to, okay.
Now, one thing that we have to, part of that conversation they would rather have the whole thing the way it was when it
Yeah,
was put in the
sure.
beginning. But they're not against, it's not a deal breaker for them to do it the way we're talking about.
Yes.
As long as the models didn't cost a lot of money,
Yep.
they could take care of it themselves.
Absolutely.
Yep. So would everybody support moving
Can I
forward?
ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Sorry, but I think I'm struggling with having, and I said this earlier, what is this? An effective date in here for section.
Page you want.
On page 27, there's an effective date for section 3 and 4. And I am struggling with having an effective date that what's going to be implemented on that effective date, I'm not understanding. And if it's just that we're going to acquire information, that's fine. If it's more than that, I'm not sure I can support it. So that's what I'm stuck on a little bit.
Let's talk with Ledge Council about section 4 and what definitions would need to change and the dates of those changes.
Okay,
Okay?
because I don't want to implement something when we don't have data. That was my concern.
We will ensure that all the dates and everything are right. So section 5 basically will say that they have to come back to us with the stuff we want and the data that we want on January 15th of 2027, and that they may move ahead to expanding in January of 28. So we have delayed that for a year. And that will ensure that when they come back to us in 27, we can either say, this looks fantastic, let's move forward, or whoever's sitting here, or that we can say, this is going to be a disaster, we're not moving forward, and we can change it then.
I'd rather change it now. And that's my position because
Right,
like
now
you said,
this language changes it in 2028.
I get it, but I don't want to have an effective date until we have the information. I guess that's what I'm worried about. So what if who else is sitting at this table?
So I'm hearing you're a no.
Not necessarily. I want to,
Cannot change that date.
why? Why can't we take it out?
So can I just?
Yes.
Yeah, help me.
So if we add, like, so if we had this section, right, which has
Which I have no
Date-
problem with this
Okay,
section.
can I finish?
Sorry.
which has a date of January of 2027.
Yeah.
And we also put in a section about having data in January 27, right? Then whoever's sitting at this table will have a conversation that says whether or not to move ahead or not. But I think it's important for the department to know that the effective date, if it's moved ahead, is 28, because there is a lot that has to be done for them to put these in place.
Okay, so help me understand what this effective date is affecting.
That the plan starting in 2028
The
What else?
association health plan,
would be allowed starting in 2028,
that's what I'm struggling with,
based on what happens in 2027.
or not.
Okay, but that's how it has, I mean, I agree that it really, that date should be in there because planning, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you've been here long enough,
Yeah.
like so much stuff has to happen.
I mean, I know the
Before
dates
things
push
can
can
be
be
put.
I get it, but I'm worried. I mean, I've seen a number of times that we put dates in and nothing happens, or it's happened. Yeah,
Okay, well, then you need to make your decision based on that.
okay.
I don't want to have long discussion on this. I'm gonna let Topper finish out here and then I'm gonna ask for.
Also, they want to start as soon as they can on the modeling.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I've heard that and it makes sense to me. I feel like the federal government is totally unreliable at this moment. So I feel like there's a whole lot of time before the federal government is ever going to address the issue of the commonality cost.
And they may not.
And they may never. So there's a whole lot of work that may get done for no good reason.
It might be good for us to have that information anyway.
I got one quick one. What's been the issues that we come to this where we need this? What's been the issues?
I would say that businesses that are able to form an association are looking for other options of relief in trying to find health plans.
And that's not a good thing if it saves you money?
Well, that'll be decided in 2027.
You know,
Right now, the federal government does not allow that. And unless the federal law is overturned, then it remains the way it is. This is just giving DFR the ability to kind of start planning and because, I mean, as we know, it takes a long time to affect a plan year. So this allows them, if the federal law is overturned, to start planning for it, but they still need to come back to us in January of 27. That's what this is doing. Hey, if the federal law never gets overturned, this
None of
is
this
null
is
and
gonna
void.
Not happening.
and.
I know, sorry.
the other
Okay.
thing, Alyssa, is the point that you made about, you know, what is the impact going to be? If this went forward and they do the modeling, if the modeling shows that it's going to impact the pool, then we may not want to do it at
Yeah.
all.
That's why we're having them come back
So does that,
with information.
can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
So does this language include modeling on the impact of the QHP? Okay, so that's
Yes.
cool. And then does it also ask for impact on the hospital system, like the hospital system? Is that included in here? I'm not sure I get that.
It may or may not.
That's
I'm going
explicit.
to work with Jen on language.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just say one
That's
thing?
like
For me, this is a really big compromise in support of our businesses and our individual market, right? So like, I think we all are concerned about the QHPs and concerned about businesses.
Yeah.
So let's try and find a path forward that hopefully can get us to a point where we can help small businesses. I think this is a good middle ground.
And I'm hoping that the modeling and the research that they do on it and the data they're able to come up with will show if it even will have an effect for small businesses or, I mean, that's the thing I think we heard in testimony was, well, we're not sure, but it seems like it might be a good idea. One comment, and then that's it. Okay,
I wasn't gonna say anything, but what I'm hearing, I wanna make sure what I'm hearing is a vote yes would mean we're moving forward with a study and that the language of the study is still negotiable.
yes.
If that's the case, I'm not gonna say anything else now, but I would like to weigh in later on the language of the study.
Yeah,
Okay.
when Jen
All right.
presents us
Great.
the
Yes.
language of the study,
Then
then
we
we
can-
can.
'cause it'll be
we can
different than
parse it.
this.
It'll be different.
It'll be based on our previous discussion.
Karen,
Okay,
and then,
thanks.
and then that's all.
All right.
All right, sorry, I'm struggling again. So I feel like it's two draft horses going at like different paces. We do want the information, and once we have the information, go, let's help out small business, 'cause good idea. But right now, we're saying, it's like cart, I don't know, I'm using horse metaphors, cart before the horse, we're gonna say like, we're definitely gonna do it in 2028. But we're also gonna get this information in the meantime, like what delays.
It-
It's to give
Yeah.
them plan the time, because if we do it next year, it will then be delayed till 29.
So not delaying it now means they think they're going forward because they're not
It
delaying.
means that they can start the planning process.
Yeah.
That's
It doesn't
what
mean we're gonna do
means. Doesn't mean we're gonna do it. They can
But it is
start.
But it is a done deal unless it's changing it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other thing is it looks at the restrictions that we have here in Vermont
Yeah.
and deciding what we're gonna
Yeah.
do about that.
Okay, I'm
Extension
calling
would
for,
allow it.
I'm calling for a vote. All those in favor of keeping association plans as we have discussed with a report back next year, I'm calling it a report, but it's not really a report, it's information, actual real data. All in favor of keeping this section in the bill,
The data collecting.
This section.
the section around.
But
One,
it's
two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and all opposed? 2. Okay. Line to, association health benefits. Short-term limited duration health insurance. It is section number 6.
Page 15.
We have not had a great deal of discussion around. We took testimony on it. I'm just asking for simply a vote on whether or not to keep this in here, based upon the testimony that we received. Department of Financial Regulation really, really would like this to offer more options to people who need short-term limited duration insurance.
Can you remind me what the healthcare advocate's position on this section was?
Can the healthcare advocate remind us of his position?
We are opposed.
Okay. All right, all in favor of keeping it in there? Three. I'm going to assume that it's gonna be 8 the other direction. All those opposed? 3, 6, 7, 8. 3, 8. 4. Right, moving on. That was good. Section 7. Oh, this is just high dollar claims. It sets an amount for what a high dollar claim is at 25,000, and this allows them to do prepayment coding validation. That's the person, by the way, who put this in here years ago and had big fights over it. I am going to support this wholeheartedly.
So when you said them, who did you mean? I'm sorry, remind me. Allows them, them is,
It allows insurance companies to do a prepayment audit. They may do it on claims over 25,000. Previously, it was just high dollar. No, we're at 25,000. It doesn't say they have to. It just says they may. So all in favor of keeping this in here? Undo the work I did.
Is that another 11? Was that really an 11?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, great.
11-0.
Any opposed? No?
On the 25K. We're keeping it in.
Unanimous approval.
Don't go crazy.
Battles.
I know you can't because you don't have that many
Don't
auditors.
spend it all in one place.
Site neutral reimbursements for physical therapy. So I'm,
There's 2.
yes,
We're doing it as one?
yeah, we're doing it as one.
Okay.
So section
Yeah, it's a
8 and
requirement.
9, we're doing it as one. It has to do with site neutral, payment for physical therapy services.
This is suggestion to add occupational therapy and.
Didn't we add that?
rehab medicine.
Yeah.
I,
Where that landed.
Courtney, do you know where that landed? Because this is like a set of codes.
Yeah,
Is the OT is it inclusive?
so Sharon put in a really, and Mike Lansford put in a really good letter, and we agree with them 100%. Under physical therapy is one set of codes and a group of codes.
Uh-huh.
And we prefer to do the whole group, which would be physical therapy, occupational therapy,
Great, okay,
and athletic training.
okay, great. So we will work with Ledge Council to ensure that that's.
A vote yes means we can move forward with the language.
Yes.
Okay,
A
thank
vote-
you.
A vote in favor that we move forward.
We're voting to put it in.
Yes, put it in. Okay, 1100, site neutral.
Can I just ask if anyone has ever received as many emails?
Oh my God. Don't even bring it up.
It was physical therapy.
They were all from
I
Winovsky.
calculated and I thought, I didn't realize there were that many physical therapists.
Independent physical therapy.
I got hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Wait, did that work? Because if that works, I'm gonna have people start
No,
emailing.
it didn't work.
Okay. I'm gonna have people still see.
Sometimes it's
Here,
nice to
psychedelic
hear,
medicine.
we really like what you're doing and, so.
Prescription
glad we
drug
could do that.
coverage.
Okay, I'm going to, I'm the one that included this. I'm not even going to have us vote on this section other than I am removing this.
Okay.
All right, all right.
I am going to remove this.
Good idea.
However, I want to get a read on everyone's thoughts around what Charlie Becker said yesterday around maybe we could look at it. And really what I want to do is I'd like some actuarial
Mhm.
analysis done if we could expand and do a co-occurring, I guess, plan design that would have the same out-of-pocket that would afford people more choice and maybe an actuarial analysis on how that might bring the total out-of-pocket down or might even bring the premium down based upon that. So would everybody be okay with me working with Ledge Council to just say, can somebody report back to us on what this actually would mean if we did what I put in here?
Well, that's good. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
is everybody in favor of that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Like a good.
Sorry, everyone.
No, thank you. I wasn't gonna.
I missed the last thing you said,
Yeah,
the last two sentences.
It would be nice if we could get an analysis of if it would actually have any effect on premium or.
Yeah. So is it, what you're saying is you're removing this and you might add in a study of some kind, or you're removing it and we'll come to it another time in the future?
Sure, I think if you could ask Diva to, and Diva has already done,
Okay.
because these are QHP plans. Just ask them to look at.
So we're removing it and we're gonna figure it out another way?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I understood that.
Or-
Or the
QHP,
Might be, I might be wrong.
it's a plan design.
protection.
So in the final vote of the bill, we may or may not see this section again.
I'm gonna work with Ledge Council
Okay.
to
Exactly.
figure out who we asked.
But it's gone for now.
It's gone for now.
And that, and you're making an executive decision and no one's opposing it so vehemently.
Okay.
Zero in favor of the executive.
So we
I'm
took,
fine with
we took a lot of testimony yesterday. We incorporated H102, it's been on our wall for 2 years into this. This is, section 11, which has to do with healthcare sharing plans that, it's the reporting. It's essentially reporting to the Department of Financial Regulation, the business that they're doing in the state. All in favor of keeping it in the bill? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and removing it from the bill. 8, 3.
If it stays in, can we discuss how to, well, it is gonna stay in. Can we discuss maybe how to make it less burdensome? Or is that the ship sailed?
I think that ship has sailed. Okay.
I share that question, but I think the reporting is very important. It's just the magnitude, but I'm gonna vote in favor of it.
All right. That's actually it.
It's 5 for 12.
Well, except for the effective date, but I'm not taking the vote on the
Can
effective
we
date.
please, Nelson?
I want to get a read on, okay, so I have a couple things. I have board governance 5, 6. So not a majority, short-term limited duration 3, 8. I want to get a sense from others on the committee, whether or not any of your no votes, if these sections remained in this bill, would it affect your ability to vote for the bill as a whole. That's really important.
We're gonna go through them with the remaining ones
No,
and ask. if
I'm
there's-
I'm asking people who voted no on certain things. I want a general sense of if that stays in there, I am not voting on this bill. Okay.
I
We-
just
I need-
want to speak,
I want to speak to the question. Sorry, I wanted to answer the question.
Yes,
Okay, so I voted no on the governance one.
yes.
I have no objection to the governor being the appointing entity structurally. And I explained my struggle that no vote would not make me not vote for the rest of what we all just did.
Well, didn't we just cut, didn't we cut that
That's-
out?
No.
Yes,
Yes, we
I'm
did.
just trying to get a general
Okay.
sense of the depth of passion of people's feelings around, because I have been very honest, I want to move forward with this bill.
Mhm.
I think it's important to my vice chair. I think it's important on things that we're doing around healthcare reform. I think it's important to our administration and our Department of Financial Regulation, who works very hard for us. And so I really want to move forward with the bill, but I don't want to tank the bill because of one section. So Leslie and then Alan.
No question, I was voting.
Oh, okay,
So I just want to understand process. If a section was voted down,
yes.
does that mean that vote be overridden by somebody? I'm not sure who, leadership or whatever, and kept in even though it was voted down?
You know what I'm honestly trying to get a sense of? Two things. Board governance. If board governance remains in this bill, would that mean that you would not vote for this bill?
But does that mean you override the vote?
No, I said that we were gonna straw poll each section, but that didn't mean we were necessarily removing. I was trying to get a sense of people's concerns around it. If board governance remains in the bill, would that affect your ability to vote on this bill? Would it be a deal breaker for you? Show of hands of it.
Maybe.
Okay? Yes, yes, yeah.
I'm not sure I understood the question. It's hard.
Maybe we need to see it.
Yes, would you try her? Thank you.
So what we just did was took a straw poll, but we have to take a real vote. And so if, based on everything that you've all voted on, if the piece about putting 2 members on the board was actually still on the table when we take our final vote, would that mean you will not vote for the bill? Because it's all of you voted for things yes in the bill, right? And then some of you voted no for that section. So would you can vote no on the whole thing because that one section is still in there? Does that help?
And to add to that, there was votes, I think I can remember one, that was 6-5. And it might be,
It was 5-6, and that was the board governance, which I'm trying to get a sense on. If board governance remains in the bill, would that affect your ability to vote on the bill,
The rest of it.
the rest of the bill as a whole? When we take a final vote on the bill, would that be the thing that makes you say, I refuse to vote yes on this
I'm
bill?
gonna explain, there's a couple of things I don't like about the bill, so.
Okay, well, you're gonna have lots of time to explain your vote when we actually take a vote on the bill. I'm just trying to discern whether or not if board governance stays, you will not vote on yes on this bill. Brian, yes?
I'm likely to hold the line on that one
Okay.
and if it makes a difference, and if I lose in the committee, I'll organize with others to try to kill that piece on the floor. I'll just be honest with you right now.
Okay,
And so that the rest of the bill passes, because I want the bill to pass.
okay.
Right.
I want the bill to pass
Yeah.
too, which is why I'm trying to do this exercise, because I want this bill to pass. Leslie?
I want the bill to pass too. So that I agree with 100%. I'm stuck a little bit on this process because it's like, why have a straw poll if the thing's gonna stay in or not? And that's what I'm trying to
I didn't
understand.
say the straw poll was binding. I was.
Certainly understand that you didn't say, that you didn't.
I'm asking, you voted no on board governance. If board governance remains in the bill, would that make you vote no on the entirety of the bill?
Is that a direct question?
Yes.
Probably not.
Okay.
Meaning I would probably vote yes on the bill, even though there might be a protest.
Karen?
The same answer. I love the idea of the public being on the board. I am explaining my concerns.
Yeah, got it. All right. Anybody else who, I can't remember who.
It
else.
will not be a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
I hate it though.
I just,
Will it be a deal breaker?
it will not be a deal breaker because I feel like you did an incredible job making compromise and topper too, because I know this bill is important to you and I'm really proud of the work that you all did to find compromise on some of those sections and removal of the prescription drug cap, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Short-term limited duration, people really didn't like that. I don't even think I'm going to. I voted for it. I'm actually fine with it, but I'm going to take the huge majority of the committee that said no, and I'm going to recommend that we remove it from the bill.
That's something.
It was 3-8. It was 3-8. That's a pretty rousing, the committee does not like this. Are you okay with me removing it?
Remove.
Okay.
I don't like it, but.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, you can have the committee's attention. We're on live still, just to let you know.
It's okay, yeah.
All right.
I want you all to know before it gets announced. I am resigning from the legislature, effective April 3rd.
Oh,
Reason is, my wife needs me to be home. I spent all week last week and I saw that her mobility is becoming really restrictive. And if I can, there's someone there with her right now. And I've made arrangements through the end of the month. That would allow for committee, changes or anything that have to be made. And someone to replace me. But I wanted to stay in here until we get through as much as we could. And it was not an easy decision. My wife cried all the way through it. Because she knows how much I love this. And, she knows how I feel about what we're doing. But anyway, I want to let you all know because it's probably today.
I'm sad.
So am I. So am I.
You can't leave before Catamount.
For
Universal
I want
Healthcare.
to let you people know before.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're doing the right thing.